In the final, desperate days of the Vietnam War, one single battle became the last stand for Saigon. But the key to winning it wasn't found in modern weapons. No, it was found in a 500-year-old history book. So today, we're breaking down the incredible Battle of Xuan Loc.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's April 1975, and you have this defiant vow from the man defending Xuan Loc, General Lê Minh Dao. And that single sentence, it just perfectly captures the unbelievable fighting spirit we're about to see, and it really set the stage for one of the most ferocious battles of the entire war.
See, Xuan Loc wasn't just another town. To its defenders, it was known as the Steel Door. It was the last major defensive line, this final, seemingly unbreakable barrier standing on the road to Saigon. And for the North Vietnamese commanders, this thing was a massive roadblock they absolutely had to smash through.
And believe me, for several days, they tried. The North Vietnamese Liberation Army, the QGP, they threw everything they had at that town. But every single time, the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, the ARVN, launched these fierce counterattacks. The fighting was absolutely savage, a bloody deadlock where every inch of ground was contested. That steel door held firm.
So you can see how this stalemate was a huge problem for the North Vietnamese commanders. Their whole plan of just charging straight ahead, it just wasn't working. The RVN's 18th Division was just showing this incredible resilience, and it turned Xuan Loc into this powerful symbol of defiance. This forced the QGP High Command to basically hit the pause button and completely rethink their entire approach.
So what do you do when you're faced with a modern fortress defended by incredibly determined soldiers? Well, the QGP commanders looked back, and I'm not talking about a few years, I'm talking a full 500 years into Vietnam's own military history to find the answer.
This was the million-dollar question, right? These head-on attacks were costing way too many lives, and they weren't getting anywhere. So they flipped the question on its head. Instead of asking how to smash through the door, they started asking, how do we make this door completely irrelevant?
And what they landed on, well, it wasn't new at all. It was ancient. They revived a strategy that the legendary Vietnamese hero Lê Lloyd had used centuries earlier to defeat the Ming dynasty. The situation was almost identical, a heavily fortified position that just couldn't be taken by force. And that ancient solution? Simple. Don't waste your man on the fortress walls. Attack its lifelines.
And this brings us to this incredible concept, Ve Thang Yit Vien. Basically, besiege the citadel, annihilate reinforcements. The philosophy behind it is so simple, but it's absolutely genius. Don't waste lives attacking the walls. Instead, you cut the enemy off completely, and then you obliterate any hope of rescue. The fortress, it just collapses from the inside.
Okay, so let's see how they took this ancient playbook and used it with modern tanks, artillery, the whole shebang of 1975 warfare.
All right, so the new plan was basically a three-step masterpiece. Step 1, deceive. You keep putting just enough pressure on Xuan Loc to make the defenders think you're still trying to break down the front door. Step 2, isolate. While they're distracted, you sneak your forces around to capture the key intersection at Giao Dê, severing the town's lifeline to Saigon. And Step 3, annihilate. You set a trap and wait for the inevitable rescue mission, and you destroy it.
And the execution? Man, it was fast and it was brutal. The deception worked so well that on April 14th, you had the Saigon government actually declaring a huge victory at Xuan Loc. Can you imagine? But just one day later, the real trap sprung. QGP artillery pounded the Bien Ha airbase, stopping all air support while their troops took Giao Dê. The ARVN sent a massive armored column to take it back. But after 2 days of savage fighting, that relief force was completely wiped out. The annihilate reinforcements, part of the plan, was done.
So now, with the rescue force totally smashed and all the roads cut, the steel door wasn't a fortress anymore. It was a trap. And suddenly, the defenders' greatest strength, their determination to hold the town, well, that became their biggest weakness.
And you can just imagine the psychological impact here. It was immense. These soldiers, who had fought with such incredible courage, were now completely cut off. No more ammo, no air support, and zero hope of anyone coming to rescue them. And just to make things worse, a whole other QGP army was now closing in from a different direction.
And this quote from the historical record, wow, it just perfectly captures that moment when the will to fight just evaporates. That strategic defeat, that feeling of being totally abandoned, it caused a catastrophic collapse in morale.
So by April 18th, the writing was on the wall. The situation was hopeless.
The ARVN command, seeing that total annihilation was next, made the only decision they could. The order came down for a full withdrawal from Xuan Loc. The mission wasn't about winning anymore, it was just about getting out alive.
After a brutal retreat under constant fire, what was left of the ARVN defense just crumbled. The steel door was finally broken. But here's the key. It wasn't smashed open with brute force. It was cleverly and skillfully unhinged by pure strategy.
All right, so what's the big lesson here? What can we take away from a battle that really did seal the fate of Saigon?
When you really boil it down, the QGP won because they found their enemy's critical weakness. That steel door was only strong as long as it was connected to the wall, to its support from Saigon. By completely ignoring the strong door and just attacking the weak hinges at Daoji, they made all that incredible courage, all that firepower inside the town totally meaningless.
And that's our deep dive into the Battle of Xuan Loc. It really leaves you with a fascinating question, doesn't it? In an age of jets and tanks, a strategy from the 15th century proved to be the decisive move. It makes you wonder, maybe the best solutions aren't always the newest ones, but the ones that have been proven time and time again by the deep logic of history.